welcome back to Darvanalee Designs Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed, and today we are here for a new series that I want to do, and it's called Trash to Treasure. But we've also got our day 21 of our Advent opening, so let's get started. And welcome back to the channel. Thank you for taking some time out of what I know is a very busy time of the year for everybody. Family arriving, getting ready for the big guy in red to come and drop off some presents for the little kiddies and all the rest of it. But we are here, as I said, for the start of a new series called Trash to Treasure. Been thinking about this one for a while, and what better time to start it than now to take us into the new year. But we've also got day 21 of our Advent. So let's get into the Advent opening, and then we can get into the nitty-gritties of our new series. All right, so we have 3 Advents this every day for the last 21 days, and basically we have an ornament one, which you can see all of my ornaments starting to hang up here. We've got one from Said With Love, and I've got one from a lovely friend that put an Advent box together for me this year, Gail from Wombat Hollow Crafts. All right, so we'll start with our ornament one as usual. All right. Are you running out of room yet? Yes, I am. I'm squeezing them in. All right, let's get this one open. It feels like another wooden ornament. All right. Oh, this one's pretty too. This one's got little birds on it. So we had the possum one the other day. I think it was on this one. Oh, that was, I don't know where I've put the possum one. I've hung it up somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's the little star one, so we've got that one there, and now we've got a little heart to go with it, and it's got some beads and a little bit of tassel down the bottom. Very nice. My Christmas tree is going to look lovely once they get on there. I'm thinking on Christmas Eve I will end up hanging them all up on the tree. So as you know, little Em went back to Brisbane yesterday, and she forgot to take her, we forgot to pack her ornaments. So anyway, she'll take them back next week when we go and pick her up. All right, yes, a lot of driving around. All right, so we've got day 21 of the Said With Love one. Let's get that open. All right. Ooh, some pins. These are called Pretty Pins by Laurie Holt, and they come in a cute little holder. Very nice. And it says on the back, you can never have enough pins in your sewing room. Try out these cute pins. All right, so I'm going to open it up and we'll have a closer look. So it comes in a little container that is shaped like a jar, and these are cute little pins that have, like, I'm trying not to stick myself, that have little jewels on the end. So very, very cute. All right, perfect. Absolutely love it. Now, what I sometimes do, especially with stuff like this that come in a little sealable container, is I will glue a magnet to the bottom and turn it into a magnetized one. So that is a little tip for today. All right, so let's get rid of that rubbish over to there, and our day 21 from the lovely Gail. Loving the stickers on it, holly jolly. Let's open this up. Ooh, I like it. It's another scissor fob. Or you could hang it off a project bag as well. So it's from Monty's Minders, and it is a Starbucks one. That is gorgeous. I absolutely love the colors, and we've got a little coffee, because I'm coffee obsessed, on the bottom. Very, very nice. I actually love this. I am going to actually put this on a retreat bag that I've got up there, because I don't want it to be on my, I've run out of scissors to put them on. So I'm going to actually hang that up on my retreat bag with the rest of them. So I'll pop that up there so I know where it is. So that is a day 21 of our Advents. I absolutely love that, Gail. That is absolutely gorgeous. And I, yeah, as usual, I say thank you here on the videos, and thank you to everybody else that has that I've purchased stuff off. One is from Decor Me, Monique, and the other one is from Said With Love. All right, so I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We are getting closer and closer to the big day. All right, so we've got some pins. We've got a now a project bag pull for my zipper, and we also got a beautiful ornament as well. All right, so you're here for the main event, which is the Trash to Treasure series. Now, this is a new series that I have been thinking about doing for quite some time. I had all intentions of doing it at the beginning of last year, but with everything that went on, I just wasn't up to it, so I ended up canning it. So I have decided to start it up again this year, and I thought, why not do it just before Christmas, because it might give you a last-minute gift idea. All right, so I have taken some footage at where I was and all the rest of it. Now, people are really funny about filming here. And there's a couple of spots where I moved really quickly, which I'll endeavour to cut them out because there was little kids and you can't film kids, and there's a whole thing. So I managed to get some filming done, so I will insert those clips in as soon as I finish talking about it. So what the Trash to Treasure series is about is me going into some op shops, going out and about. If I'm, you know, over on the coast or wherever, if I see an op shop, I'm going to stop, go in, maybe film what I find, and then bring it back to the studio and turn it into something useful, or something that we can use. So taking another man's trash and turning it into my or your treasure. All right, so you've probably seen a couple of these things that I have collected when I've been out and about with Brendan at swap meets and stuff like that. So one of them was I found a little crystal bowl that didn't have a lid on it, and I found a frog for our flowers, and I've combined the two and turned them in. Well, I've actually got my tailors all in there, but I've also turned it into a scissor holder. So I put all of my scissors in, like my fancy scissors for embroidery and stuff like that, and then anytime I want to swap them out, I can just pull them out. So that is one thing that I've done. The other thing was I found this little silver box, and I have it sitting over near my couch, and I have my spare needles in that. Now, I do have to put a magnet and everything on the bottom, which I haven't done yet, and I still have forgotten to get a silver cloth to polish it up. Now, I don't believe that this is silver or anything, but I do believe that I don't even think it's pewter. I'm not 100% sure. It possibly could be. It's got no stamps or anything on it. But I just seen this. It cost me $5, and it's perfect because I can leave my needles in there. And as I said, I'm going to put a magnet on the bottom, which means that none of my needles will fall out. So, as I said, we are going to take someone else's trash and we're going to turn it into a treasure.
Okay, so I'm out and about today. I'm heading to, as I said in the intro, this is a new series that I'm starting, and it's called Trash to Treasure. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm going to like thrift stores or secondhand stores or op shops, as we call them here, which is short for opportunity shop. And we are going to look at, you know, what other people throw away basically, and we're going to turn it into a treasure for our sewing room, or maybe something to wear, or whatever the case may be. So this is a series that I'm going to be doing throughout 2023. I'm starting it a week early as a Christmas present to you guys, so you get an extra one. I'm not sure how many I am going to do throughout the year, but I'm going to endeavor to do at least one a month, if not one every second month. And we are going to go into the op shop, and we're going to have a look around, and we're going to see what we can find to turn into a treasure for our sewing room. So let's go into Salvation Army. Now, this is local to my area, and I'm going to endeavour to go into other ones around, you know, wherever I'm traveling to, see if I can't find one, and pop in and see what we can find. All right, so let's go and see what we can find today.
So we have been shopping this morning. You've seen a couple of things that I got. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera around and we're going to have a look at what we got, and then we're going to turn it into something useful. So we done a little bit of shopping. I found this little cute bookmark. So that is our giveaway today. So I will give you instructions on what to do. So that is there for our giveaway. Now, a couple of things that we got was, this was here. Now, I don't believe that this was a set, but it was together. It was sitting together, and it gave me an idea that I can turn it into something. So, yeah, so this I'd say would be off a little, like a tea light. You could probably sit a tea light in there. But I just thought this was really adorable. It had the paint on it, as you can see, like the etching on it. As you can see, it was $1. And I'm going to have to scrub that off, I'd say, because I don't know what stickers they use at Salvation Army. They are just buggers to get off. So yeah, anyway, we are going to turn this into something. It's very dusty. And the other thing I got was this sugar bowl. So it got me to thinking, now this one again, has sticky tape on it, so I'm going to basically head off and give these a bit of a wash, and then we will come back and we will start thinking about what we're going to turn them into. But while I'm doing that, you have a think and see if we come up with the same ideas. All right, so we might not necessarily get to both of these today, but we're going to give it a red hot go and see what we can come up with. All right, I'm going to go off and wash these and get rid of all the dust and everything off, and get rid of the stickers and whatnot. So I'll be back in a second. All right, so I've washed these off, and while I was washing them off, I had a pretty good idea for this one. Now, this is just a oven-proof dish that they've sat this, I'd say, was off a tea light of some sort, like a little candle holder maybe. The base might have broken, and this has been donated to the op shop. And I just loved, like, they've paired it up really well because it's got the yellows and the greens, and I think it looks absolutely stunning. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to work with this one. I'm going to set this aside for our next video. I do have a bit of an idea for that one, but I'm going to set that aside, and today we are going to turn this one into a pin cushion and a wonder clip holder. So I thought that it is perfect for that. So I thought if we cut a couple of little circles, we can actually stuff this in here with, turn it into a pin cushion, because we can get in from the bottom and then we can glue it into place, and then we can have our wonder clips about it. All right, so I'm going to grab some fabrics. I'm going to try and find a nice green fabric to go with this, I think, because there is a lot of green, or maybe even some yellow. I don't know. I'm going to go and have a bit of a rummage and see what I can't find. All right, so we're going to need a few things today. We are going to need some crushed walnut shells, and this is just lizard litter. You get it from a pet shop here in Australia. Okay, we're going to need some fabric, and I've just chose this one because it has sort of birds and flowers on it. We're going to need a little piece of felt. You're probably going to need your iron and ironing pad to iron out your fabric, and you're also going to need a hot glue gun, and obviously you'll need some little glue sticks if you need to. So as you know, I like to, as I said earlier, I have used a lot of different things in my sewing rooms. I love pin cushions. Can never have enough of them. I have scattered all throughout my sewing room, and I have different pins in different ones. So both these glass ones here, these were desserts that I got from Aldi, and these were the containers that were left over. So as opposed to throwing them away, I just made a flower pin cushion. And there is a tutorial on how to make these pin cushions on the channel, so I will link that up down below or up the top, whichever one I remember. Okay, and so I just pop it in there, and so I don't stick myself, it's basically the pins just stay in there, and they don't stick me then. And then I've also done the same thing here for this one. This one was a tiramisu dessert from Aldi, and again came with a glass container. And you've probably seen on my slow stitching Saturday, I've got some terracotta pots that came with a little oven baked meal, and I use them to sort things out into. I use them for all different sorts of things. So you can see there that I've just turned something that was going to be trash into something useful, and that's what we're going to do here today as well. So as I said, I have got all the bits and pieces that I need. Basically the first thing that I want to do, because this is going to be a wonder clip tray, but the first thing I want to do is I actually want to just find the center, and I'm going to stick this down, but I should be able to get a decent amount of glue on this. And my little hot glue gun is actually heating up, and you can see I'm just going to put a bead of glue around the outside, and I'm going to have to work pretty fast because it's on glass and it will set off pretty quickly. Now, I'm not worrying about whether it's pretty or anything like that. I'm just going to find the center roughly, and I'm just going to pop that down, and I'll just press that into place, and that should just hold. And we are going to now make our little pin cushion. So I need to cut a couple of circles, and I'm thinking that I'm going to use this particular one here, and I'll just get my pin cushion out because that is a pretty decent size. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place that on over the top, and I'm just going to draw a line around it. Okay, and I'll need 2 of these. And then I'm just going to dive into my scrap bin and see if I can't find some scrap bits of interfacing, because I do like to put interfacing on my pin cushions. See, all right, so if you're here and you're watching, don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below, okay? And also in the comments, put the word turtle or an emoji of a turtle in the comments, and you will go into the draw, and I will draw this probably the first week of January. Okay, you will go into the draw for this cute little cross stitch. All right, so let me just find some interfacing. Got a couple of bits of scrap here, so I should be able to put that onto the back of that. So let me just move all this out of the way, and then we're going to head over to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew in a circle and leave a small gap. Alright, so I'm just going to place my circle on there. Now, it doesn't matter if it doesn't reach all the way. Don't stress it, okay, on your interfacing. We just want to get that on. These pieces are going all the way, and I will show you in just a moment. Okay, so we can see there that they're going. And I'm just going to grab my scissors, cut these in 2, and then I'm just going to cut a circle on that line. Okay, now it's only going to be a small pin cushion on top, and as I said, this series is about taking one man's treasure and turning it in one man's trash and turning it into a treasure for ourselves to use in our sewing room. All right, so when we get to the sewing machine, you're just going to use 1/4 inch seam allowance. You're going to leave your stitches at the default setting, and then you're going to leave maybe an inch opening or 1/2 inch opening, just enough to get some filling in there and some of your litter, your lizard litter or your crushed walnut shells. Now, if you don't have that, that's fine. You can just use your regular everyday polyfill, which I'm going to put in as well as that. But let's head over to the sewing machine. We're going to place these right sides together, and just so I remind myself, I'm going to leave myself a opening, and I'm going to leave probably about 1 inch. I reckon that's going to be enough for me to get the lizard litter or the crushed walnut shells and also the polyfill in. Now, what you want to do is you want to do a back stitch at the beginning and at the end, and you're going to sew all the way around. So I'm going to head over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to do that. All right, so we've done that. We can take those pins out, and then we're just going to grab our pinking shears, and we are going to just start at one side, and we're going to just pink those edges. It's just going to make it easier when we turn it out to get our circle shape. I am actually going to get I'm pretty sure I've got some handmade buttons there, but you can get a button of your choice. It's not necessary. This is just an optional extra. Once I'm finished stuffing this, I'm actually going to put a button in the center like this, so I've got it there, and yeah, we know it's handmade. So all we're going to do now is turn that in the right way. We'll get our fingers in there and just run it along that seam. Now this is only a small pincushion because I've done it in proportion with what we've got here. Okay, I don't want it to be super high or anything like that, but you can see here we now have our little round pincushion, and I'm just running my finger along the seams. Okay, and then what I will do is once I've filled it up, I will start to close this. So you will need a hand sewing needle as well, and I will leave a list of everything that you need down below. Okay, so let's start filling this, and I'm going to start by putting some polyfill into it. And you want it to be firm as well, so you want to get as much as you can in there without overfilling it, to make it a little bit easy for yourself as well. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, and you can see now that our little little glass trivet there has stuck down really well, so you can see too that we're getting some polyfill in there. And now what I'm going to do is just put some of this lizard litter in, and I'm just going to scoop it in with my fingers, and then I will just smoosh it around a bit. Okay, because we're working with something small, it is a bit tricky, and I don't have a funnel, so I've just sort of got to fill it with my fingers. Move that a bit closer so you can see, and you can see there that I'm just putting some in, and I'm just sticking my finger in and getting it to swoosh around. Just when you're working with something this small, it is a little bit tricky. So, and I'm trying not to make a mess. I'm just going to head outside and fill this up so I don't get it all through my sewing room, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so I've got that in there, and I'm just going to put some, you can see in there that I've got the grit in there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stuff this up a little bit more with some polyfill, and I'm really going to get it in there without overfilling it. So I'm going to get it right into all the corners, and you can see that that is getting really firm. Not that circles have corners, but you know what I mean. All right, so you can see that that's quite firm. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll over, get that in as much as I can, and we're going to close up our opening. Now you can just whip stitch this, you can just, and you're just going to try and get it to close. And I'm just pinching that. Let me just get rid of some of this mess here. And I'll just grab my Wonder Clips because that'll help me hold it. And I'm just going to fold that over by 1/4 inch, and then we're going to bring those two edges together. Now this is a tight little squeeze, so just get, because we're just working with a tiny little circle. Okay, and we're just going to push that in, and we'll get our 1/4 inch happening. Once you've got that done, we're just going to grab our needle, and I'm just grabbing one here, and we're going to thread that. And I'm just using cotton out of my sewing machine, just out of the bobbin. And then we'll just put a knot in the bottom. Clip off our tail. And then where we've just clipped it, we're going to just come up into that seam a little ways away from our opening. And what that does is that'll just bury our knot. Okay, and then we're just going to fold that under, and I'm just going to do a whip stitch basically, or a ladder stitch is probably the best one. And I'm just going to take a little bit from each side until I have it closed, and I just do a little bit each time. And our first one, I will do that one slip stitch, and then I'm going to go in the same spot and go through and just get that knot to sit really tight for me. So that's not going to come out now. And then I'm just going to pinch fold my raw edges over, and then pinch my edges together. Now I'm not overly concerned about what's happening past my hand at the moment. I am just folding over and going as I go, and trying to get a 1/4 inch, and just working a little bit at a time. And I just take a little bit from one side and then go back the other way, and that will just slowly but surely disappear, and we will get our shape as we're going as well. All right, so I'm going to continue doing that, and when we come back we'll attach it to our little trinket here. Okay, so once you've sewn that together, what we're going to do, you can see we've got that all stitched. I've got a little bit of a pucker there, but I'm not concerned about that. We're going to add a button onto this, and then we're just going to get some Pearl 8 or 2 strands of embroidery floss. I'm using Pearl 8 today because that's what I've got handy. I'm just going to use a white thread, but you can use whatever color you want. I'm going to center that button, and I'm going to bring the thread up from the bottom, and I'm not concerned about the knot on the bottom because we're not going to see that anyway. Okay, and I'm just going to keep going in and out and trying to center that as I go through. Get as centered as possible because that will make it a lot easier. Sometimes it just goes crooked no matter how much you try. And I'm just squeezing that down and putting pressure on that, and that'll make it nice and easy to come up. Go down again, and I'm going to keep doing that until I've got the desired result, and I will just put a little bit of pressure on that thread each time without too much tension on it, so I don't want to break it. So you can see there that we are starting to get our thread to come through, and we're starting to get that little divot. So if we give that a bit of a squeeze and a bit of a tug, it'll start to edge its way down. All right, I'm pretty happy with that, and so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back up through, and I'm going to come out underneath that button, and I'm going to pull that really tight without breaking the thread, and then I'm going to snip it, and then that, once I fluff around with it, will disappear. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll that between my hands. Okay, and get that to shape up, and you can see that's shaped up pretty well. All right, so now what I want to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of green felt on the bottom. Okay, so I've just got something to stick. And it's not necessary, like if you are happy with that, you can just stick that on there like that, that's fine, whatever you're turning into a pincushion. This is just a way of showing you to think outside the box. It's not necessarily a tutorial because you won't be able to find exactly the same thing, but you never know. You can head to your local thrift store, find a little baking dish, find a little container that you can glue to it, and then we can stick this on. But I definitely want to have a circle on the bottom of this, so I'm just going to go around the edge of this. I'm just going to use my pinking shears, go around in the circle, and I'm cutting on the inside of the circle because I want it a little bit smaller. I need it a little bit smaller, so I'll go around again, taking about 1/4 inch off that. Alright, so you can see that there, that's going to fit on there nicely. So I'm going to pop this on the bottom, and we'll use our hot glue. Just pop that on there, and pop our little felt bit on. And you want to center that as much as you can. Okay, and that is going to make it nice and secure. So you can see there that that's going to sit on there nicely. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some more glue in because I'm almost out. Just need a little bit of glue around the outside. Alright, so that should be enough now, and we're just going to stick that on. A little bit of a twist. Sure that that is sticking on, and give it a little bit of a push. But there we go. We have our little pincushion, and that is stuck on there pretty good. Just got to hold it down for a little bit. There we go. Our little pincushion is now done. So it is now ready to use, and we are able to put our wonder clips in here all around it. and that makes it nice and easy to get hold of it. All right, so thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope that you enjoyed taking something that was in an op shop and we've turned it into something useful. As I said, it just opens your eyes up to, you know, someone else's trash is now our treasure. All right, so as I said, that's it from me today. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Don't forget to enter into our competition. Leave an emoji turtle or the word turtle in the comments, and I will draw that in the first week of January. But thank you very much for joining me for our new series, A Trash to Treasure, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye for now.